Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. Um, we will do a long version of the short that I just did. The nature of discipleship, Matthew 8:19 through 22, Luke 9 through 57 through 62. For short, there's a lot in here. So we're going through the gospel parallels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And the scribe came up and said to him, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. And Jesus said to him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man, meaning himself, has nowhere else to lay his head. Another of the disciples said to him, Lord, let me be first go and bury my father. But Jesus said to him, Follow me and leave the dead bury their own dead. Now there's a lot going on in this scripture. And so we have to break it on down. A couple of subjects. First of all, he's homeless. And he is kind of, an itinerant preacher going from one place to another, like the old Methodist preachers did when we first came to America. And they had 2 and 3 point charges and traveled on horseback between churches. And 2 or 3 point charges means 2 or 3 little churches. And they do a sermon at one, going to the next and the next. I had a relative that did that years ago. And then he turns around and then we're talking about the homeless people. We have homeless in my neighborhood. I'm like shocked. This is a nice neighborhood, and you think that the city would have something for them. There is a shelter in Rock Island, which is a couple miles over in that direction. And they're downstream a bit, and I'm in the Mississippi River. I'm right on the Mississippi River in Illinois. And so anyway, they're down, and we have this homeless shelter just for men. And where the women go, it's bits and pieces. And some of these shelters are for people that do substance abuse only. So if you don't do substance abuse, you can't get into a shelter because they want to put you through a program for substance abuse. But if you don't do that, if you don't smoke and drink and whatever, I've met homeless people like that. I knew one girl that she was just homeless and she was pregnant, and she was trying to get in somewhere, and they wouldn't let her in. They wouldn't, no matter where she went. I remember I think she's in a mental institution now. She had schizophrenia, and she could not take care of herself, so they put her into an institution. And that was a sad thing. Anyway, we need to do something about the homeless. Keep them in prayer. We need to do something about them. Nationwide. We really do. We really do. They're highly discriminated against. That can happen to anyone. Anyone can end up homeless. Why discriminate against them? Because it'll happen to you. That's why. Yeah, it'll happen to you. If you discriminate against them, all of a sudden, karma will come back on you. I know, karma is a Eastern word, but we kind of use it here in the Christian faith also. The coin flips. The coin flips. And also Jesus said, go bury, when this guy wanted to go and bury his father, and Jesus said to him, follow me and let the dead bury the dead. In other words, just drop everything and follow me. And let the dead, non-believers, bury the dead. They're dead, right? And so I have been dealing with a lot of people that I really consider demonic lately. There was a prophet recently that said that probably by the 15th of this month, we would begin to see who's going to go with the rapture and who isn't. We're going to see it. We're going to see the Christians and the non-Christians. The Christians will love being together because we're like-minded. But the non-Christians will hate us for no apparent reason. No reason. They just will really dislike us. And we won't know. And then you kind of wonder about those people that are fence sitters. What do you do with fence sitters? You know, you get them to choose. But they might not. But let the dead bury their own dead. In other words, if they're a non-Christian, just leave them alone. It's just, yeah. Now, you could try witnessing to them. You could try talking to them. That's what witnessing. You just try talking to them. But sometimes you can't do much, you know. You can't do much at all. And I've been dealing with these people lately that are non-Christians. They actually look demonic. I'm beginning to see that in people. I am beginning to see demons in people. I'm looking and it says, I see that. I see that. And that person over there, I see that. And the Christians are beginning to look like they're glowing. They glow. And you kind of know. You know, instinctively, you kind of know. And I think it's going to get more and more apparent as we get closer to the rapture. We're to see more of this. And so that is what I have to say about that short little scripture. And that's kind of a short, but it'll be put in the longer place where you could view that. Please keep our homeless people in prayer. It's snowing out tonight. It's cold. We have people that apparently are out in this. And then if you know anybody that's a non-believer, that's one of what you call the dead, one of the dead, right? Keep them in prayer. Invite them to church. Invite them to church functions. We have this potluck every Sunday with a short little worship service. The people like to sing. Yeah, we do it right here in my kitchen or in the living room. If it's nice outside, the summertime, it's out in the backyard. I have some cookouts. People are attracted to food. So if you tell them that you're cooking up some ribs, their eyes get real big. Oh, yes, I'll be right over. And they do. They come over, and then you have this nice little worship service when you're right after you're done eating. As soon as they're done eating, and just before you clear off the table, because by then you clear off the table, they want to leave. So you bring out the hymns and say, we got some songs to sing. You got any favorite hymns? Yeah, you got some real favorite, it's getting close to Christmas. Let's sing Christmas songs. And it's easy to do. It's easy. You could do it. You can do this. This is kind of my assignment of what God apparently wanted me to do. So it's easy for me to do. I'm a good cook. And I'm a good teacher. But I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.